Hi everyone! So today I want to organize my Daniel Smith palette, which I've mentioned before. This is a very old layout. This was my actually first ever palette that I put together with my own kind of colors that I picked. And so yeah, it's been a while since I properly used it, and I thought I really like you know, just using Daniel Smith colors on their own, and it has a nice pink color variety here. And I think a couple of colors are moved around from this swatch list, so it's not that accurate anymore. So I'll have to swatch out all these colors to figure out what they are. And I know my Daniel Smith colors so well that I will be able to tell from the swatches. So then what I have here is I have this Schmincke's Rutile Yellow, which obviously shouldn't be in this palette, so I'm going to take that out. And then I have basically 3 spaces left here to add more colors, and I decided for these colors. So I've got 3 half pans empty, and I'm gonna fill them up with lavender, Cascade Green and Naples Yellow, and that will be kind of the finished palette. But I also will change the order of the colors. So actually for this palette I want to try something different, where I have a different, you know, I won't start with yellow. I'll start probably with another color like pinks, and then and then go in that order type of thing. So also I will clean out these areas here, because I used it, I don't even know what I used it for. I used it for some colors that I don't think I even have in this palette for swatching, so I'll clean that out. I'll also clean this tray because it's kind of it doesn't look right, so I'll show you how I like it to be. So wherever the colors are, I like the color group to be. So for example, the oranges and the pinks are grouped in this section, so then I can mix all of my colors here. The yellows and a bit of like a dark yellow or orangey, slightly lighter orange, I can do here. Blues, purples here, greens here, and then I have a little area here for neutrals and like grays and darker colors. And I have also these 2 colors which don't really fit in anywhere, but I tend to mix this purple over here. And looking at it now, I probably should have put it here, but anyways, I also have a gold right at the end, so these 2 colors I kind of mix wherever and whenever if I need to. But yeah, predominantly here. So that's how I will be aiming to use this tray and this tray for mixing, so have the color groups done that way. And then also I'll create a new swatch card which I have already pre-cut, and I this time decided to cut the corners here with this Fisker's corner cutter. You have 3 rounded options, and that way it sits nicely like that. This one is slightly big, but it really works well once I, for example, put it like that and then close the lid. It kind of gets the card in there, and then it sticks in there, so it fits in really snug. Okay, so that is what I will be doing today, and I'll probably start by filling up these pans. I think this is the first thing I will do, so I'll squeeze out these 3 colors. So Naples Yellow is a good color for a skin tone. I'm going to try and squeeze out just a little because these pans are not fully filled, so I'll just do the same amounts over these 3 colors as well. So Cascade Green is an interesting color because it is it's a color that separates and granulates, and it's a good color to have in your palette for some really interesting effects. Also, it separates into this beautiful turquoise color. In fact, here on the cloth you could see, so it's like a green, but it separates into turquoise and green. And so I don't have a turquoise from Daniel Smith, and I'm really missing a turquoise. I love having a turquoise. Well, I have so in this palette that I just showed you, I have this one, which is Ultramarine Turquoise, but it's sort of like it's a little bit too intense for the turquoise that I have in mind. The turquoise that I do like having in my palette is this type of a turquoise. So on the swatch card, that's what it looks like. It's like a cobalt turquoise. And I don't have an equivalent in Daniel Smith, but this is as close as I can get from what I already have. I don't want to buy any turquoises from Daniel Smith because at the moment I have one from Schminke, I have one from Core, and I have one from Winsor & Newton, and that's enough for me for right now. There is a Sleeping Beauty, which is a really beautiful color, but I'm just not willing to pay that much money for it because I don't think it's necessary. It's also slightly more dulled down version of the like a true cobalt turquoise because it's made from natural pigments, and so you would expect something like that perhaps. Okay, so here are the three colors. I'm now going to clean out the palette next. You know it's way too late, regretting our mistakes. You got so head over heels crazy. Need to apologize, we went too far this time. Come a little closer, there's something I have to say. I love you and I hate you and I hope you feel the same. Come a little closer, baby, please don't walk away. Alright. I mean, alternatively, you could take it to the sink and do it that way, but just I don't have the time for that because you'll need to clean out your sink after that. Secondly, you will have to dry all of your palette, and just I really have no time for that type of thing. So for me, whatever takes less time, I'm happy to do. Okay, so I'm going to take the insert out just for now. So now this process is usually what takes the longest because it's a little bit fiddly. So again, I will talk you through once I've done it, and then for now I'm just going to do it. I decided to swatch these colors really quickly on the back of the existing swatch card, and I'm doing that for the reason that I just want to remind myself what these colors are before I start putting them in the orders. So I'm just gonna do that really quickly. Now this color, I haven't used it very often, so I'll try to make myself use it a bit more often now that I'm going to be using this palette. That's the other good thing about having different colors in different palettes. You might fall in love with something you haven't used in a while, or you might discover something new, or you know, like a new color mix. So it's quite useful. Alright, after about 20 minutes playing around with the order of this, I came up with this look, and it kind of really works for me. So it's a group of 3, and so that's what I have here. And it does look good for me. Now I decided to swap these around, although this is the darker blue, this is the lighter blue. It would make sense to go that direction, but the Indanthrone blue is kind of between a blue and almost a purple, so it's definitely heading towards this direction, because this is where I have lavender and all the pinks, and this blue is quite a bit warmer, so I decided to stick it next to Moonglow, which actually Moonglow has very similar blue granulation in here, so it kind of works well like that. So I popped out all of these half pans, and now I'm going to put them in the right order. So I'm going to keep them like that so I don't get confused, and then I'm just going to get the right colors out and put them back in. So at this point it would be good to title your half pans, and I think a lot of these are, I think all of them are titled, so make sure if you do this that you title them. Okay, so I'm going to start with the red, and then I'm going to go with that orange. This one was this one here. Now that's Quinacridone Gold, I believe, and then next to it is New Gamboge. This is the Indian Yellow and Lemon Yellow. Now I'm going to start going into the green, which is quite satisfying. So I'm going to use this green here, which is a Rich Green Gold, and that's the only little bit of color I have, because the rest I had it in the tube and it dried up completely, so I couldn't save it in any way, and so that's all I have from Rich Green Gold. Then I have Green Gold right next to it, Sap Green, and then I have the new green, which is the Green Appetite Genuine. And then let's put this green Cascade right next to it. It looks really beautiful here because of also this, both of these colors are granulating and separating, so they look lovely together. Now here I'm going to try not to get confused, but I'm going to start with Alizarin Crimson, which was this one, I think. And then the next one is the darkest color. I think this was this one, and then that one. And then we have this one was just a Quinacridone. I'm trying to think. Doesn't seem to be titled. Or it was stamped out. Yeah, so that one, and then we have Opera Pink, and then we have Lavender, Indanthrone Blue, and this one is the Prussian Blue, which I can read it out. So Quinacridone Magenta, and this one is Quinacridone Violet, and this must be Alizarin Crimson. Yes, all right. And then we have, oh, what's this one? Quinacridone Pink. Quinacridone Pink goes next to Opera Pink, like that. And then we have Moonglow first, then Shadow Violet, which is a lighter version of Moonglow. And then I have Buff Titanium, and I've got this one here, which is, if you're new to this channel, what I like to do when I do the swatch cards for a palette is have the swatch card right below the pans, and that will give me the indication of how big I need to make my swatches, considering that I want to see the color, so I don't want them to be too small, but I can't have them too big either because I will need to title them. So to begin with, again, I'm going to spray those watercolors that are dry, and that really will help me to wake up these colors. Obviously I'm not spraying the ones that I just filled up, and I need to make sure my brush is nice and wet but without excess of water, because we don't want the swatch to be too watery. I like in my swatches to see the intensity of the color and also the lightness of it. So I'm just going to try and lightly touch around it. Alright, so it's all nice and dry now, and this is the color arrangement. It's very different to my usual traditional color arrangement, which you can see it starts with yellow and it goes into oranges, reds, pinks, purples, blues if I have, and then greens and neutrals. So doing something like that can encourage you seeing your old palette as something new and different, and that can inspire you to just dip in those colors and start using them. And I really love the colors that I have here. Some of the colors I haven't used in a long time, like rich green gold, Pyrrole Scarlet, New Gamboge, and a couple of the other colors, and I feel like really wanting to start using them again. So that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed this little video, and thanks for watching. See you soon.